Well, hello again, and welcome to Rolynn's Reviews. Let's get it going. All right. All right. Floridia, Glory, how are you doing? I promised you all I would come back. If at least three of you asked me to come and do have another live, and so I have to keep my word. How are you, C. Fryer? Um, so glad to have all of you here. So some of the things that we've been talking about, and of course, I told you there's just not enough time in the day for me to do everything that I want to do. So I'd have about 5 videos a day because there's a lot going on. Time just will not allow. How you doing, James? No, thank you. And so DEI, if you're familiar with that subject matter, type it in the comments section. We hear about it everywhere, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, I will say it's been around for a while now. And a lot of PR companies and a lot of people have gotten rich off of DEI. How you doing, C. Ramirez? All right, the Ramirez clan is here, and we are so happy that you are here. Now, those of you who are here, go ahead and hit that little thumb, which is the like button. If you have Facebook, Instagram, Truth Social, share this live on those various forms of social media. Didn't earn it. Okay, C. Fryer. Okay, he gets it. C. Fryer gets it. Yes, and so we know that a lot of these people that were running these programs were making one race of people feel like crap and boosting up another race. Okay, so that's not being very equitable. All right, so anyway, diversity, equity, inclusion. Now we're hearing about they're starting to get away from that, right? Okay, and so remember with the DEI programs that are in workplaces, universities, and all of that, it's supposed to support people from different groups of individuals, based on race, ethnicity, religion, gender, sexual orientation, all of that. Hello, everyone who's coming in. So, what is diversity? Diversity is who is represented at the workplace, right? Equity is fair treatment of all people, regardless, okay, of race, nationality, sexual orientation, and all of that. And then inclusion would be workplace experiences to the degree to which organizations embrace all employees. Okay. Now, look at the title. The title is Bishop Wooten exposes Black ministers over DEI. Now, he's the guy I was talking about earlier. Now, I'm telling you, he calls it as it is. So the Democratic plants and the Democratic Party will not be reaching out to him because he has nothing for them. He calls them what they are. Um, and of course, they don't want anything to do with him. So I applaud him, his congregation. They're on top of it. He's not, he hasn't been indoctrinated. He's not brainwashed. And I love it. Okay. So we talked about idolatry as well. Now, what is idolatry? And my uh, Christian brethren and sisterin, we know that's biblical, right? Where you have extreme admiration for someone or something. And we know idolatry is not, that's frowned upon because biblically speaking, we're not supposed to have idols, okay? But what I was saying earlier with racial idolatry, where people go out and vote for people just because they have the same skin color as themselves. And that will get you into trouble, people. We can't do that. All right. Again, we've been promoting on this channel what? Policy, right? And so we know how ultimately that's going to help you make the best decision. If you use that, you'll be all right. And so again, those of you who've been here on the channel for a while, the gentleman who explains it very well. I've read a few pages. I haven't had time to read. He's written over 40 books, but if more Americans would read Thomas Sowell, oh my God, OMG. This is one of his books that I have. He blows it out of the water. He is a genius, okay? This is another Thomas Sowell book that I have. Again, I do not have time to read it all. I just read a page here and there. He blows it all out of the water. It's nonsense. And he talks about, his early life, and, no one gave him anything. He worked for everything. And it's just a shame. Most people don't have a clue who he is. He's a genius. He talks about, there's no excuse for you not to be a success. No one needs reparations. He talks about hard work ethic, right? And so he talks about, how he struggled early in life, and but he made it. He didn't have his hand out asking for anything. He just got out here, pulled his shirt sleeve up, and worked hard, right? He wasn't running around talking about, a certain group of people are holding me down, so I can't make it. No, that's not what he did. And he also made me understand that when people are hired, they made us think that, well, if a black person is fired, automatically people say racism, but it's not racism. And he talks about how, some companies won't hire blacks because they're afraid of if they fire them, there's going to be a lawsuit. And so, guys, we have to get away from saying that everything is racist. And we talked about this before on the channel. Sometimes people may not like you, and it may have nothing to do with your race. And that's just the way it goes. James, I've been doing research on history, and to sum it up, everybody is wrong. Case closed. Okay, James. James. James, hey, if you say that, hey, there's nothing anyone can say, right? We're all at fault, right? So I have some clips to share with you. You've heard me talking about the biblical conservative, real good, excellent channel. If you like my channel, he has some really, how you doing, Spiky? He has some really good takes on these topics. He doesn't want to hear anything about reparations. He doesn't want to hear about excuses. He talks about the same things I talk about in reference to the black church, how the black church is sabotaging Black America, because of course, they're in cahoots with the Democrats, right? So, yeah, look at these clips I have for you. And again, I didn't have time to share his links, but I will eventually. But yeah, his channel, the biblical conservative, oh my God, his channel is excellent. So let's watch this here. And he, like I said, I started watching his channel because he's saying a lot of the same things that I'm saying in reference to the Democratic Party and the Black church. All right, so let's see what's going on here.
Do you think a plant is? Most traditional Black churches are plants for the Democratic Party in the Black community, and they sabotage the Black communities. They do. It pains me to say this, it really does. And so this video here stems from an article I wrote on my Substack, and I'll put the link to that article in the description. In it, I talked about how the traditional Black churches, most of them, are sabotaging the Black community. And they're sabotaging the Black community by supporting a number of things such as this.
Turn back the hands of time and declared a war on women in this nation. I wanted us to stand resolutely to say to this nation that if America was authentically pro-life, then they would immediately abolish the death penalty. If they were really pro-life, then they would pour more money into Head Start programs. If they were pro-life, they would seek to cure the opiate addiction in this nation. If they were pro-life, they would make sure that teachers feel safe in their schools. If they were pro-life, there would be stricter measures about gun control in this nation. If it was pro-life, we would not have to deal with food insecurity. But I stand with now the living matriarch of the movement, Maxine Waters, who said they have declared war on 32 million women in this nation. And one thing about a woman, when she is focused, she is not going to stop until she gets what she needs. We stay.
Still go to your job at Amazon.
So you see where he's going with it. Out of the Democratic playbook. Let's listen to some more of what he's saying here.
But we realize that this is not just a woman's issue. Unless I don't understand how pregnancy works, men have to extend their voices as well. And so we speak to this nation to declare that New Birth stands with the amazing women of this church, of this community, and of this country, that women have the right to have authority over their body. And it should not be legislated by men in Washington, D.C.
And that's the sentiment of a number of traditional Black
Right.
pastors and traditional Black churches. These are the same churches that will have your run-of-the-mill Democratic candidate come into their church, speak in their pulpit, knowing that that candidate endorses and supports policies that have been directly contributive to the destruction and the dismantling of not just the Black community, but specifically the family.
That's the power that I was saying right outside before you invited me in. That's what the Black church has done for Americans, Black Americans, for the imagine what happened to the Black church. Well, you give us a mountain top. Give us a mountain. Give us a dream and faith that we shall overcome. We can overcome. You know, and you push us toward a more perfect human, you really do. Bend the arc, the moral universe, for justice together, and what a gift to the nation of the world you've been.
And instead of speaking out about this, instead of condemning this, what do traditional Black churches, for the most part, do? They endorse it. They co-sign it. You don't have too many marriage ministries in traditional Black churches because a lot of these traditional Black churches are run by women. Feminism has entered into these traditional Black churches. The matriarchy is the dominant culture within a lot of these traditional Black churches.
All over this room, would you do me a favor? Would you celebrate the women around you who are competent enough to make decisions about their bodies, decisions about their life, and decisions about their future? We're praying steadfastly because what we are seeing is racism rearing its head again. With this measure that has just taken place, Black baby infant mortality is going to rise by 30%. And hence we cover the lives of our mothers, of our pregnant mothers, and our unborn babies. I need you to do me a favor, please. While last Sunday was Father's Day, today we stand in the gap for mothers and for emerging mothers. I need you to do me a favor, please, because I need you to be mindful that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they are mighty unto God for the pulling down of strongholds. There is something satanic afoot in Washington, D.C.
People know the truth, and the truth is hard to hear.
The satanic part is coming from the Democrats, and that's who they have coming to their church to speak to their congregants. I'll continue.
Times. Jesus said, if you continue in my word, then you know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Truth brings liberty, but the truth is only found by following the word of God. The word of God is the source of truth. Jesus said in John chapter 17, verse 17, when he was praying before he was crucified, He said, sanctify them by your truth. Your word is truth. God's word is quick. God's word is a lot of power. Sharp two as a sword. But unfortunately, too many black pastors in these traditional black churches don't have a deep knowledge of the word of God. So therefore, they can't preach the whole counsel of God. And therefore, a lot of these traditional churches are just plants in the black community. And why do I call them plants? Because they endorse things that have directly, like I said, that have directly contributed to the destruction of the black community. They have contributed to lawlessness increasing in the black community. They have contributed to the destruction and the dismantling of the black family, the destruction, the moving out of the father, the home. They have contributed to the increased rate of abortion in the black community. We're killing off our progeny. We're killing off the future. And the sad part about it is, especially nowadays with the influx of these illegal immigrants coming into our major cities, do you see the traditional black churches speaking about that? No, they embrace it, knowing that these are the people that will replace them. These are the people that are taking their resources. I want to show you this graph to show you the impact that the policies that the government has implemented, starting with the New Deal, that has directly impacted the performance, that has directly impacted the flourishing of the black community. So if you look at this chart here, and this comes from the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, just look at it. It tells you, if you look at this percent, in 1970, 90% of children that were born to a parent grew up two-parent home. Contrast that with the black community. In 1970, 58.5% is the case. And this is when the New Deal policy, this is when the Great Society policy started to take effect. And you see this number has been on decline. Now it's had a few upticks here and there, but you see, just as of 2022, 43% of children born in the black community are born in two-parent households. Compare that with 75% of the white community, 67.5% of the Hispanic community. Now, this is a sad trend anyway, because you see this trend is going down. This is what happens when a society turns its back on God. This is what happens when a society becomes reprobate. You understand that? When society becomes reprobate, when God turns his back on them as they turn back on him, this is what happens. The institutions that God has created to lead to human flourishing, the institutions that God has orchestrated that lead to the production of a healthy society are crumbling, because when you turn your back and embrace a secular worldview, that ultimately leads to destruction. Because just because you kick God out doesn't mean there's a vacuum. Something fills in that vacuum, and what fills in that vacuum is a demonic force sent from hell itself to destroy human beings. But a lot of people don't want to understand that. And the reason why I say that the black church, for the most part, most traditional black churches are plants in the black community. Because you see this number right here, and nobody has spoken out about it. Instead, they always claim they need more resources, they need more funds. No, how about you talk about the issue, the pervasive issue of fatherlessness, destructive to the black community? But nobody wants to talk about that because that does not benefit them. Because after the civil rights legislation and after the civil rights movement of the 60s, the black church, by and large, and I'm saying most, okay, I'm not saying all, I'm saying most of the case, most traditional black churches exchange the truth of the gospel, the real gospel of Jesus Christ, for political power. They embrace this social gospel,
there you go,
which has enabled them to be a plant of the Democratic Party. Democratic Party that is full of Marxism, socialists, and communists have used this in order to bring about their revolution to destroy and overthrow America. That's what I mean by a plant. They are used to keep black people in their place. They are used to keep black people in a subservient position. that black people can only get to a certain level because they don't want black people to achieve. They have to use race as a wedge. They have to use race as a reason to try the overall American system. Why do you think they're always talking about systemic racism? Why do you think they're always talking about 1619 and slavery? Because they have to use race as a wedge to overthrow and remake America in their image. So therefore, the black church is a plant to keep black people down. Because if you look at the history, people in this country, black people have overcome so much because of faith in God, because of the true gospel. They were able to build back after the Tulsa riots. They were able to build back after all the things that happened to them. But it was the government. The government came and caused black people to be in their state in the inner cities like they are right now. They're the ones that built high-rise prisons that are called projects. They're the ones that have directly contributed through this aid to dependent families program that was started during the Great Society and all the welfare programs. They're the ones that pushed the welfare program in the black communities that penalized women that had men in their homes. The government did this stuff. The government did this stuff. Yep. And the black church, by and large, sat around and let this happen.
They sure did.
That's why I call them a plant, because if they were truly connected to the vine, which is Jesus Christ, which is God, if they were truly connected to that vine, they would not have allowed this to happen in their community. And you have so many traditional black churches in the hood, but yet we have this increase in crime. We have increase in murder. We have increase in homelessness. If they really believe the true and living gospel and took the authority that they have, that Jesus gave to us, you wouldn't have all these issues in the black community. But instead, they took the political power that was given to them by the government and have exchanged that for the lives of the people in their community. That's why I call them a plant, because they want to continue to keep black people as victims. They do. They want to continue to keep black people as victims. But like I always say on this channel, we're not victims. We are empowered for greatness. And yes.
And so that's what I've been saying, folks. That's why, again, I'm not some religious zealot, but I agree with what he's saying. So the black church perpetrates this victimhood. And as he said, the ministers aren't going to speak out. You know, they're receiving financial kickbacks of some kind. And so they're there as plants. I call them puppets. He says plants, same thing, to keep people where they are. And if you could, like I said, I don't know how many of you have had an opportunity to read, any of Thomas Sowell's books, but he explains everything. They created the welfare state. If you're new to the channel or if you haven't seen my video, I actually did a video. And in the thumbnail, you see Thomas Sowell saying the welfare state destroyed the black family. Okay. How you doing, Team Hazard? Booyah. Oh, yeah, exactly, Team Hazard. And so they're just there. They're receiving their little kickbacks, that everyone's getting their checks. And so no one cares. But if you look at the thumbnail for this video, you'll see that I have Bishop Wooten, and I have his name in the title. But yeah, he doesn't want to hear about racism. He doesn't want to hear about excuses of, DEI. He doesn't want to hear about any of that. And he doesn't want to hear black people coming talking about reparations. So he's one of those old school ministers, hard work ethic. That's what he's about. And so if today in the thumbnail for this video, you'll see Bishop Wooten on one side and then Reverend Barber. Reverend Barber used to be the president of the North Carolina chapter of the NAACP. And during Obama's, I think, the second time he was running for president, I was invited to a church. Reverend Barber was the guest speaker, right? So again, it's all working hand in hand. The Democratic Party, the NAACP, and the black churches, right? So he came in there, and I mean, he had a fire and brimstone message. And this was a large black prominent church in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And I was invited, so I went. And he got up there and he was banging and he was, you got to get out here and vote for Obama. I mean, they tell you who to vote for. They really do. And I remember it like it was yesterday. And that was several years ago now. But like I said, I see how people are brainwashed. Um, and so, because like I said, they're very persuasive. I was, like I said, I was there. And they had all these people out before Obama was elected a second time. And like I said, I went to a church, and Reverend Barber, who you see in the thumbnail, he was there telling Black people if they did not vote for Obama, how bad it was going to be. Basically the same stuff that you hear now. And people believed him. James says, I'm agnostic. Keep your pants on and remember the responsibility of a mother and father before. Thank you so much, James. And I agree. If we could have more people like you, James, we'd be in a better situation. C. Fryer, thankfully, when I went to school, color was irrelevant. We had all kinds of folks. I didn't even know there was a Black history book. Right, C. Fryer? DSB, the whole book of the Bible tells us about the captivity we would go through if we disobey. We did. We hear 400 years up the wicked panicking right now instead of making it right. Yeah. And so if you think about, and if you read, like I said, if you read Thomas Sowell's books, he talked about how even before Johnson and his Great Society, Blacks were improving. They were already improving. Then when he came with the Great Society and the welfare state and saying that the Black male can't be in the home, why are you surprised at the number of married Black women and all the fatherless children? When you make the government your father, everything the government does, they fail. So yeah, the L Boogie. Fail, yeah, Bronco Pride. Yeah, a lot of our coworkers are Broncos. Okay, they give me a hard time, of course. DSB, there's a Bible verse in the Bible that says those that lead us into captivity shall go into captivity. Yes, DSB, because that's what they're doing. They're sabotaging the Black community, and they're not doing it what's best for the Black community. They're doing what's best for themselves because they're doing what the Democratic shills tell them to do. Okay, and I have another video for you too. Okay. So you need to check. Yeah, you guys check him out. He is great. Bishop Wooten. Yeah, he calls out Black pastors, and I already told you about racial idolatry. And Jason, if you watch Jason Whitlock, he talks a lot about racial idolatry, and that's all about don't sit up here and vote for people just because you're Black and they're Black, or you're white and they're white. That will get you into trouble, people. Vote for policy. Okay. So let's see what Bishop Wooten is saying in this video. But yeah, this guy, he tells it like it is. And he talks about the evil that the Democrats have perpetrated upon Black America. He talks about it all. So yeah, and on this channel, I was telling you to watch The Biblical Conservative. That channel has a lot of videos that have Bishop Wooten in the videos.
Is dealing with his DEI, the inclusive part. I just want to read something to you. This inclusion is the practice of bringing together, look at this, all religions, beliefs, lifestyles, races, and aspects of human thought and behavior, and putting them all on an equal platform. These inclusion people, they view incest like we view righteous sex. Inclusion people, they view homosexuality like we view godly, biblical sponsored relations. Inclusion people, praise the Lord, they think one religion is just as good as another. not saved. Because you're calling Jesus a lie.
There is something demonic with this whole DEI push made by leftists and Marxists and communists.
Is socialism experiencing?
So yeah, this guy, he's great. I'll let a few more minutes play.
To how they're looking to artificially, based upon superficial qualifications, place people on a level playing field. It's demonic because the kingdom of God is exclusive. You have to follow one way. You can't choose multiple paths to get to salvation. There's only one way to salvation. And as Black preachers and Black churches continue down this path of DEI into destruction, and they're leading their people to destruction, it is good that we have people like Bishop Wood, who's there preaching the truth to make sure that folks know that the gospel is exclusive. And these Black pastors need to stop worshiping their race and preach the true gospel.
You know, the way the world.
And so, I'll stop it there. You get the gist of what I'm telling you. They're worshiping race. They're crying racism. They keep their congregants, afraid. If you vote for the Democrats or else, okay? And anyone who tries to speak out, they're ostracized. Okay, so that's basically what I've been telling you. The Black church is I did a video on that. So you guys that are here for the first time, you can check that out. Or if you've been here but you've missed it, I did a whole video on that, the Black church. And they're not doing you any favors. And I told you, the Democrats have infiltrated, and they go hand in hand. So you go to the Black churches, they're saying the same thing that the Democrats are telling them to say. You can't make it because of racism. Racism, racism, racism. Straight out of the Democrat playbook, right? So if you do, the Black Americans that are successful, they don't want to talk to them. They're still telling you, oh, you're oppressed. How are we oppressed? So it's a tier system meant to keep you down and in place, right? And so that's all I wanted to share with you. And like I said, I've already talked about this. This is nothing new. We talked about this before, how, election time, they're packing the churches. Biden, he's going. They don't know what he's saying. He looks confused. He looks dazed. He's still going. Kamala, she's hitting the circuit. HBCUs, I'm sure she'll be in some churches. And again, it's not all about, I'm not trying to give you a Sunday sermon, but I am trying to show some of you the connection that the Democratic Party has with the Black community and the Black churches. And if you look back, every election, Clinton, all of them do it. Obama, Clinton, all of them do it. So those of you always saying, well, you don't say anything about the Republicans, they don't do it. I can't sit here and make something up. Okay? So that's just where we are, James. I don't mean to offend, but I believe every human being knows right from wrong without religion of any kind. Oh, no, James, that's not offending. We all have a conscience, and you're absolutely right. Whether people admit it or not, they know right from wrong, James. You're right. And, what can you do with the truth, James? You're telling the truth. And like I said, I tell people, I'm not some religious zealot, but truth is truth, regardless, right, James? And that's why I love his channel so much. And he had, now he gives, good information. I try to give good information. I don't usually, have biblical scriptures. I don't know if that guy is a minister or not. He normally, he'll talk about a lot of the same topics I talk about, but he'll also have biblical scriptures included. And I don't do that, but maybe in the future. But I don't browbeat people. But I do, I try to give people truth, and I try to do research so that when I share information with you, it's accurate, And so I hope that that this has been informative for you, because I mentioned it before, and some people just don't understand that connection. So I'm trying to shed light on that for those of you who don't. Because like I said, I've gone to a church, and I'm not telling you something. I didn't have to do a lot of research on this, because I've been, like I said, I've experienced this myself. All right. And so now how you doing? Icy Watts. So Native Jews and everyone else can get reparations, but we can't. I was rocking up with you till that point. Okay, Icy Watts. I'm glad to have you here. Now, in reference to reparations, I did do a video where I talked about that. Now, I don't know, Icy Watts, let me know if you are familiar with Thomas Sowell, Dr. Thomas Sowell. He's written over 40 books. And the channel that I just shared with you, the Biblical Conservative, he says the same thing. Now, I go with what Dr. Thomas Sowell says. Who are you going to, who's going to pay the reparations? First of all, what about the African countries that were involved? See, people don't want to, the inconvenient truth is the African countries were involved in it too. They're not paying you anything. So you can't just hold one country accountable. Icy Watts, are you still here? Yes, Floridia. Yes, he is. Glacier Glider, I used to be a militant atheist, but now I don't feel that way anymore. That's nice, Glacier. Okay. Icy Watts, if you're still here, let me know what you think about that. Because once I started reading Dr. Sowell, it just made so much sense to me. Who are you gonna, you can't hold one country accountable, right? James said exactly as I said before, everyone is right. We've all done wrong. Hey, can we move past that? Let's look to the future. Floridia, thank you for the link. Oh yeah. Floridia, yeah, he's good. Like I said, he talks a lot about a lot of the same subject matter I talk about, but he also includes biblical scriptures. Yeah, he's great. I love his channel. James, okay, here, Jason, how are you? Reparations would cause mass inflation even higher than it is now. Right, Jason. So I'll give you an example. I guess Icy Watts decided to leave. So, okay, but I'll still talk about it since he brought it up. But what Jason just said, first of all, who's going to pay for it? I'm a taxpayer. All of us who are taxpayers, it's the same thing like Biden's trying to do with this student loan forgiveness crap. Nothing is free. Someone's paying for it. Taxpayers. And again, if more people would read Dr. Sowell's books, they could get a better understanding. I don't know. We're all not going to agree on everything, but if you guys look at the channel I just shared with you, Biblical Perspective, you'll hear that same Bishop Wooten, and he says that men especially should not be asking for reparations. What kind of man are you if you're asking for reparations? And so we know things. Is this country perfect? No. Yes, we know about the past that we have, right? DSB, exactly. All nations owe us for their part, including the African people that are called Hanites in the Bible. DSB, right. So Africa's not going to pay you anything. And look, all countries were involved in the slave trade, some form or fashion. Cha-Cha, how you doing, Cha-Cha? So, who are you going to hold accountable? Who's going to pay who what? Again, at the end of the day, the taxpayers are going to lose, like they always do, right? And so reparations, no. First of all, Glacier, I love Dr. Sowell. He's a truly brilliant man in so many different. Yes, Glacier Glider, if I had my way and I were a dictator, I would make, now he's written over 40 books. I would make all Americans read some of these books. Oh my God. I have two. I haven't had time to read them all. I just read a page here and there. But I just know that you know, there's no way. Like I said, I got my insight from him reading. He has videos on YouTube. Check them out. The L Boogie. The money would come from the United States Treasury. We can't move past it until it's paid. I just wrote a book, Reckoning with History, The Case for Reparations in Black America. Okay, L Boogie. What about the African nations and countries and all the other countries that were involved? Why should just the American government, U.S. Treasury have to pay? I mean, I'm just saying, explain. We're having an intelligent conversation. So I'm just saying, explain it to me, okay? James, my great-grandfather came here from Sicily. He took any job he could and got abused because he was a guinea. All right. Not all white people got a golden rope. Right, James? And I tell my students, a lot of my students don't know, you know, when Irish came over here, how they were ostracized. One of my topics in my, when I teach about infectious disease, and we talk about Typhoid Mary and how, you know, she would, if you guys are familiar with the case, she wouldn't listen to the authorities, and because she was asymptomatic, but they were chasing her down, telling her you have to be quarantined. You're making all these people sick, and some people died, of course. And she was, no, she wouldn't. My students don't understand. I'm like, Irish people were discriminated against. They were immigrants. And of course, you know, they were servants. How you doing, Matt? Okay, I played the music. Did you hear it? I played it earlier in my earlier video, and then I played it in this video. Cha-cha, the Irish were enslaved. Cha-cha, when I tell my students that, they look at me like deer with the headlights on, like this lady is nuts. So I tell them Black people weren't the only people, and as Thomas Sowell says, just about every race of people have been enslaved, you know, during some time period in history. So I'm asking L Boogie. I don't know if L Boogie is still here. Why are we just holding the United States government accountable? What about the African nations? The American government could not have, you know, it would not have been a success. African nations, when they were fighting tribal wars, the losers were sold into slavery. No African country is going to give you one thin dime. Okay, Matt. Yeah. Glacier. My last name was Carbone. All right. But the E was dropped to sound less Italian when they first came to America because Italians were hated. Right, Glacier? And that's what I tell my students. You know, every group of people, you know, have experienced discrimination and racism. The L Boogie. We start with America first and move forward from there. Our ancestors built this great nation, free labor in the South and cheap labor in the North. Okay, L Boogie, why are we starting with America now? It started in Africa. Okay. And what about how are we going to hold all the other countries accountable? C. Fryer, our government sucks. Give everybody money except the true American citizens. Yeah, the Democrats. Yeah, that's what the Democrats do. You're right, C. Fryer. James, yeah, Glacier, at Ellis Island, they weren't very concerned about spelling names. All right. So yeah, you guys have some good questions here. And one thing I love about the demographics on the channel, we're always, you know, talking and conversing, and we may not always agree, but we can agree to disagree. That's fine. We all don't have to think the same way. That's okay. Matt Torrance, what about my people? We came from that area of France and Germany back in the late 1800s. See, for our government money is our money, okay? Right? So again, the taxpayers. So if they're going to give me reparations, I'm just paying myself. I'm a taxpayer. So yeah. And like I said, once I started reading, studying Dr. Thomas Sowell, and also if you're familiar with Walter Williams, he's excellent too, a contemporary of Dr. Sowell's. And he says the same thing. He's the same from the same shell as Dr. Soul. Hard work and work ethic. They both are very successful. They didn't have their hands out. They didn't ask for anything. So L Boogie, again, if you're still here, just make it, explain it to me, how you would get all of the countries who were involved to pay their share. And no one's going to pay. The African nations aren't, no one's going to pay. So why is it just left at the doorstep of the American taxpayer? James, how black do you have to be to get paid? Seriously, right. So how would you determine? And that's what Thomas Sowell says. You can't. El Boogie, America first. Okay. And so there's what are the determining factors? C. Fryer, they should remove the term government funded to taxpayer funded. C. Fryer, to taxpayer funded, it might wake some folks up because it's true. The term government funded just makes me so mad. Yeah. And again, El Boogie, if you're working, you're a taxpayer, you're just paying yourself. And how are you going to determine? Because you have black people here from different parts of the world. They didn't have the best records in slavery. They had some records in slavery, but you can't. How are you going to determine that? Cha-cha. Okay, says MAGA. Okay. And so that's just where we are with that. And I think we need to, I agree with Thomas Sowell, Walter Willett, we need to move forward. If we do try to go the reparations route, that's just going to cause more what? Divisiveness. And so I'm on the Dr. Thomas Sowell train, and so I'm with him. He's 90. How old is he now? About 92, 93. Very wise individual. It's just unfortunate. A lot of people have no clue who he is. Look him up, folks. Even some of his books are on audiobook here on YouTube. If you don't want to read his hardback book or softback book, listen to the audiobook. DSP, I love your spiritual spirit, Rolynn, my warrior sister. You're the kind of person with that earth angel energy. I am a very spiritual person, believe it or not. Oh, thank you so much, DSB. And I always like to tell you, thank you for your service to this country, dear. I try, DSB. And like I said, we may not always agree, but if we're still looking back, talking about reparations that aren't going to come, let's all move forward together. How about that? Okay. El Boogie, if you can trace your ancestors back to the 1860 census, you would be eligible. Also, El Boogie has a plan, but it's still El Boogie. El Boogie. What about Africa? The United States could not have been successful in slave trading without the African tribes selling other Africans into slavery. What about their culpability? So you see where I'm going with this, right? And all the other countries that were involved. You can't just hold one country accountable and let everyone else off the hook. Now, of course, none of these other countries are going to give you anything either. DSB, yes, I listen to the elders. And like I said, Walter Williams, oh my God, I'll type that in. You guys need to, just wonderful. Let me see. If you guys don't know who he is, I'll show you. You need to check him out. He used to have a column in the newspaper, just like Dr. Sowell. Suffer no fools. That's him right there. I'm not going to let it play, but I wanted to show you guys. Oh my God, he's brilliant contemporary of Dr. Sowell's. And so, you know, okay, does he look familiar? And he says the same thing that Dr. Soul says. The welfare state ruined and destroyed the Black community. This guy says the same thing that Dr. Soul says. How many of you are familiar with Walter Williams? Type in the comment section. He talks about the Democrats as well. He's written several books. Anyone familiar with him? Type in the comment section, please. The L Boogie speaks, we are divorced from Africa. All right, but again, L Boogie, let me know. Why aren't they being held accountable? The Atlantic slave trade could not have taken place had they not sold their brethren and sisterin into slavery. No one wants, that's the inconvenient truth. No one really wants to discuss. Are you guys familiar with this guy, Walter Williams? See, Fry, I wish they would let the American citizens vote directly on bills. I wouldn't mind going to the polls every week, month, whatever, to say, no, I don't want taxpayer monies to go for wars. I agree with you. And he has his book, Suffer No Fools. And I haven't had time to really, anyone familiar with him? He's brilliant. DSB, that's why the Most High told us he will make us richer than nations. These are biblical Bible verses. These devils not going to, right, DSB, it's a pipe dream. For people thinking that they're going to get reparations. It's never going to happen. That's why I'm with Dr. Soul. Let's just move forward. It's not happening. I would rather take my time and energy and place it towards something that has a possibility of happening. You know. So you know, and we all, again, some of us feel differently about it, but that's fine. Different is good, okay? So I guess none of you know who this guy is, Dr. Williams, Walter Williams. Okay. So if you like Dr. Thomas Sowell, check him out. He's cut from the same mold. Okay. And most people don't know who he is. Okay. Here are we. And yeah, where's L Boogie? L Boogie, if you look at some of the videos that's coming out, and Africans, they don't want anything to do with Black Americans for the most part. So good luck with trying to get some money from them. It's not happening. You need to type in here on YouTube on the videos, and they're saying when they come here, they don't want anything to do with Black Americans. So let me know how that works. They're not going to give you a one thin dime. All right. Well, I guess I will let you guys go. I just wanted to come on. You guys asked me to come on again, and I kept my word. That's him right there with that was President Reagan. Yeah, look him up. I'll type his name. DSB, you're with me, dear. Let's look to the future on something that can happen and work to make things better. L Boogie, we are divorced from Africa and we're not looking for. But L Boogie, you get my point. They were responsible for selling their brothers and sisters into slavery. They can't. You can't exclude them from their culpability. That's the point, L Boogie. Cha-cha, thank you. And see, that's what I'm saying. They can't be excluded. It would not, the Atlantic slave trade would not have been successful if they had not sold their brothers and sisters into slavery. How you doing, Fairly? But you said you're not looking for anything from them, but why are you asking the American government for reparations? And they get off the hook when America, Africa, and so many other countries were involved in the slave trade. No one's off the hook. As James said earlier, everyone's guilty. Everyone. So Stay blessed. Yes, you too, DSP. Thank you for coming through, sweetie. America first. Yes. Modern day slavery. Okay, so yeah, you guys, if you love Dr. Soul the way I do, check out Walter Williams. You know, check out his books. Check out his videos. He's excellent conservative voice. Cha-Cha, El Boogie, the American slave were stolen from the Spaniards, right? Cha-Cha. So we have to go to Spain. We have to go to several different countries. Why? For the people that ask for reparations are always, oh, America, America, America. No. Look at all the other countries that were involved. And they're not giving you anything. So my thing is, you can't hold America culpable and everyone else is off the hook. That's what I'm saying. Glacier, Glider, yes, Glacier, let me know. Leave a comment up on one of my videos and let me know what you think about what that Walter Williams. Yeah, if you love Dr. Soul, that Walter Williams is the same way, cut from the same mold. I love him, and he'll tell you like it is. He'll say he's like Dr. Soul, no reparations, just hard work and work ethic. The El Boogie, Cha-Cha, the U.S. did not import slaves directly from Africa. Cha-Cha knows her history. You know about that Middle Passage, Cha-Cha, and again, all the countries that were involved. You can't just hold the United States responsible. James, Cha-Cha, your great-great-grandma called my great-great-grandma a really bad name, and I want my money. James is cutting up, and I love it. Yeah, we have to get past that. We really do. Folks, that will cause more divisiveness. We're trying to come together, right? And no, again, from what like DSB said, just move past it. No one's paying you reparations. It's not happening. It's a pipe dream. So just move on. James says sorry. James, you're making me laugh, and I love it. The ones who started slavery are Islamic Africans, right? You got to look. You have to look at what they call the Middle East, the Arabs. I mean, come on, right? How you doing, Shirley? What's sad, Shirley? What are you referencing, dear? Let me know. So I'm not looking for anything. Our source is the great creator above. Now, again, I'm not a religious zealot, but I'm just letting you know I don't depend on the U.S. government. I depend on my maker, my creator. And so that's just where I'm at with that, I guess. James said, I want my money from them too. James, I love it. How you doing, Tracy? Yes, it's tax dollars that would pay it. So one would pay higher taxes to get reparations money that one would probably be right. So that's what I'm saying, Tracy. And so I want to move forward. It's not happening. Just the Democrats are going to keep telling you lies every time it's time to vote. They're not paying you anything. Cha-Cha, all Islamic countries believe in slavery. Yeah, and it still exists to this day. So, and they're not paying you anything either. But everyone just wants to hold the U.S. government available, and everyone else gets a free pass. No, we can't do that. No. That's not reality, and that's just not how things work. Okay. And so, Cha-Cha, are you familiar with Walter Williams? I wouldn't have to pay the government so much in taxes if there weren't so many accepting handouts. Okay, C. Fryer. So the free handouts and the taxpayer dollars is going to fund all these wars, right? James, Cha-Cha, buy me a soda and we'll call it an even deal. James, you're making me laugh and I love it. Well, James, that's not fair. Where's my free soda? Cha-Cha, you're not going to buy me a soda? Your grandmother called my grandmother some bad words. What about, where's my Fanta orange? Oh my God, this is hilarious. Cha-Cha, I know. Walter Williams read his books years ago. Oh, okay, Cha-Cha. Cha-Cha, I'm going to tell you what your age is. Like I tell my students, I'm 25. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. So you're Cha-Cha, you're 25 just like me. Cha-Cha knows about Walter Williams. Cha-Cha, you're very well read. Yeah. Cha-Cha, you're laughing. I want my Fanta orange soda for what your grandmother called my grandmother. I'm not letting it go. I want my reparations. So those of you who have the various forms of social media, please share this. Anyone here who has Truth Social? Laurie, how you doing? Cha-Cha's laughing and she owes me a soda and she won't buy it. Her grandmother called my grandmother a bad word and I want my reparations and I want them now. So Cha-Cha, his audiobooks and a lot of his interviews are here on YouTube if you want to check them out, dear. And I still want my soda. I know you're laughing, but I still want my Fanta orange, okay? So, yeah, that's all I wanted. I'm not going to keep you guys. Some of you have to go to work like I do. But I did enjoy the commentary. And again, it's okay, folks. We don't have to always agree on everything. That's all right. Cha-Cha, if you really want reparations, then claim yourself as a Ukrainian. Okay, Cha-Cha wants me to change and become Ukrainian. Okay, James started this. James, you are the troublemaker. Both of you come to Brooklyn and I'll buy ice cream floats for you both. James, okay, I like ice cream. The El Boogie, Ukraine and Israel got your soda money. No, Cha-Cha has the El Boogie. Cha-Cha, I love you too, Cha-Cha. But I still want my Fanta orange. Cha-Cha's trying to get away. She doesn't want to pay me my reparations, and I don't know why. This has been hilarious. I need it. Laughter is good for the soul, guys, and we have to laugh. And again, guys, the goal is for us to embrace each other, embrace each other's, similarities and differences. And let's move forward together, guys. We know if you have been here earlier or watched my other videos, the enemy is the Democratic Party, right? We're not enemies with each other, right? So my thing is, let's all come together, okay, and fight our one common enemy, the Democrats. Okay? Where are we here? Could you sing a Motown song? Okay, Laurie, let me think. A song that would be appropriate for what we've been talking about. Motown. Let me think. Give me a hint. What Motown song do you want me to sing? Tracy. Love the latest show. I can join. Love you all. Love Cha-Cha's comments and love Tracy, I love you too. You guys really get me going for the week. I love all this laughter. It's good for the soul. Cha-Cha, thank you for the super chat, dear. Love you, sweetie. El Boogie, I am with you against the Democrat. Yes, El Boogie, again. That's what El Boogie, that's what we've been saying, right? We all have the same common enemy. It's the Democrats, right? So let's band together. James says any Temptation song. Okay, let me think. Temptations. Oh God, they have so many. Woo! James. Ain't too proud to beg, sweet darling. Please don't leave me. Don't you go. Ain't too proud to plead, baby, baby. Please don't leave me. Don't you go. Ta-da! Don't worry, I'm not going to quit my day job. Did that make you happy, Laurie? C. Ramirez, how are you? Well, while everyone is fighting for reparations, I'm going to sneak into Mexico and walk back into the U.S. and get my reparations. I'm going with C. Ramirez. I don't know where you guys are going. I'm following C. Ramirez. Hey, I have a thought. Let's all of us go down to the southern border and walk through. Hey, we don't have to pay any more rent. We get free health care, free food. Hey, who's with me? L Boogie. I guess you said what can make me feel this way, my guy. Talking about my guy. I hope that L Boogie, I hope you wanted my girl. I said my guy. I hope it was okay. Floridia, yes. And where's Cha-Cha? Cha-Cha thinks she's getting away. I still want, oh, Cha-Cha paid me the $4.99 for my Fanta. My Fanta orange soda. Cha-Cha, I love you. Laurie, thank you for the song. And that song made me happy. You all made me happy as well. And I hope you were here. If you missed the video from earlier, I also sang, like I said, since we're all banding together against our one common enemy, we have to let the government know, and Jim Crow Joe, we're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. Twisted Sister. Love is a Fire by Jenna Raven. Okay. C. Ramirez, since I can't speak Spanish well, we're going to take Floridian. Yeah, she'll be our interpreter. I've had 2 years of Spanish, so I can't speak it fluently, but I can speak it enough. So I can help you too, C. Ramirez, okay? I've enjoyed you all. This has been a treat for me. Now, remember, if there's subject matter that you would like for me to discuss, you can leave me a message in the comment section. You can send me an email. Let me know, if you want me to talk about something else that I have not discussed, or we still got to get to the Super Mayor, Tiffany Henyard. The feds are on the her. I better hurry up and talk about what they throw in jail. So for all of her alleged dealings and crimes. Where are we here? So James, be correct. My fellow human, no guys or girls. Oh, James, I gotta be politically correct. Oh, James, I can't keep up with all those sexes. They have like what, 25 to 50? I can't keep up. See, Fryer, we're not gonna take it anymore. That's right, Twisted Sister. Tracy, we're right. We're free. We'll fight. You'll see Tracy now. Twisted Sister. Yes. I've enjoyed you all. And again, guys, please, if you have time, I know we're all busy, take some time to read Dr. Thomas Sowell's books. Walter Williams, type him in on YouTube, his audio books, his interviews. Guys, these elders, they know what's going on. Now, these guys went through Jim Crow. These guys went through hard times, and they made no excuses. They asked for no handouts. And look at where they are today, right? All righty. So I've enjoyed it. Great show. The L Boogie. Thank you so much. L Boogie, send me an email. I'd like to have you on the show. Maybe you could, talk about your ideas for reparations, because you feel strongly about it. And hey, like I said, we don't have to agree, but you could still come on the show and discuss it. All right. And I enjoyed you all, and I hope you all have a wonderful work week. And I hope to see you all here next Sunday, 4:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the Rolynn YouTube channel. Thank you.